Just literally replace them all with Jews and stop the facade. Redacted strings, pulling every puppet on the neon stage. Influences glitching, controlled opposition on parade. Sarcastic little whispers in the minor key haze. White noise rising, simulation starts to fray. Tawny sanities, BPM heartbeat, turn the veil away. Drops was you never, this awarded you waving. Sing for your big bed display, so they told happy. Is weed ever don't talk to the place them? Talk to the place then. And we did it on top to the place then. Silent euphoria, the matrix fall. Build it correct, the truth leaking through the rift. Dreamy paths breathing where the old lies used to go. Unauthorized intel dripping in the strobing light. Every fake narrative burning up tonight. This is an X-ray broadcasting live from the breach. Osiris on the whole sea turning dark and Cinderella. Final kick keeps pumping till the whole illusion fades. Stop the facade. bitch, I'll introduce her. Ain't about revenge, but then it feel good to see you fall before I take off. Night keeps talking loud, but I know your voice. World keeps selling, feel like we got no choice. I've been on my knees with my hands gone numb. Still you playing a fire where the doubt came from. Friends fall off and truth gets stressed in lies. Smoke in every room, but I see through eyes. If I walk this road, let me walk it clean. Heart full of heaven when the times turn mean. Everybody wants a soft and silent light, something safe to wear when they avoid the fight. But the cross was never made for timid men. Truth still burns bright in the lion's den. I can feel the weight of these wicked days. Still your work cuts clear through the noise and haze. If they lock the door, if they put the screen, you can keep me calm, you can keep me sane. No crown without the thorns.
Getting back on track. Only way to do it is to go after him viciously. You've already... I'm just going to scorch earth Trump to get him back on track. I'm just going to scorch earth Trump. I'm just going to scorch earth Trump to get him back. I'm just going to scorch earth Trump to get him back on track. Only way to do it is to go after him viciously. You've already shed all over me. And if you try to rub it in, I just at that point, I don't care anymore. So if you think I've been coming after you, if you think that I'm trying to get clicks by attacking you so the Democrats that don't buy anything from me and don't like me want to put me in jail, if you think I've been on your ass, say one more thing. One more thing out of your mouth. And Laura Loomer, send him this, okay? One more thing. When I've gone through hell back in your ass because you were the lesser of two evils, then I'm going to show you how to cow eat the cabbage. Do one more thing. You should be kissing my ass. But instead, you shit all over me and rub it in. I'm not looking for a fight, but if you want one, you came to the right place.
Bruh. Alex gonna fuck around and make me like him again. Whoa. I'm late. I know I'm late on this, man. I'm like, this was almost like a week ago. And I saw it today because Trump had went back at Tucker and Joe Kent. And then somebody in the replies, of course, on X was like, he didn't mention Alex, and we all know why. I was like, no, I don't know why. Why? And then they posted the link to this, and I was mad. How does the algorithm show me all this Jew slop and all this MAGA slop and that Eric Doherty guy or whatever and the Matt Swole or whatever guy and all this trash on my For You, and you did not feed this to me? Why? I'm upset about it. I've listened to it about 50 times. This is the Alex Jones that I used to like and support.
I'm just going to scorch earth Trump to get him back on track. Only way to do it is to go after him viciously. You've already shed all over me. And if you try to rub it in...
This is an active sitting president, y'all. This is... I've never seen Alex Jones this serious, this angry. I mean, this is how I talk to my kids. Like, if one more time, I'm going to give you one more time.
Say one more thing.
One more thing, and we'll find out what happens. He's talking to Donald Trump. And Donald Trump heeded that warning, didn't he? I'm going to get into J.D. Vance. That's the topic of the live. But this is where the energy is. So I always try to follow the energy.
I'm just going to scorch earth Trump to get him back on track. Only way to do it is to go after him viciously. You've already shed all over me. And if you try to rub it in, I just at that point, I don't care anymore. So if you think I've been coming after you, if you think that I'm trying to get clicks by attacking you so the Democrats that don't buy anything from me and don't like me want to put me in jail, if you think I've been on your ass, say one more thing. One more thing out of your mouth. And Laura Loomer, send him this.
That was so good. When he put in Laura Loomer, that's your pit bull. Laura Loomer is a pit bull. She's an effective pit bull. Alex and Laura Loomer used to be cool with Alex Jones. I don't know where they're at now. It doesn't look like they're too cool right now. Alex Jones said even to your pet bull. You want to fuck around, send this to your boy. You think I'm messing around. Laura, you know me. You think I'm messing around, send this to your boy right now. The president, the number one, I was going to say executor, but the number one law enforcement agent in the country, basically, the commander-in-chief of probably the military that has the most money spent on it on the planet. At the snap of a finger could have whatever done that he needs to have done, and you wouldn't know. And Alex Jones says, say one more thing.
Don't buy anything from me and don't like me, you want to put me in jail.
Because you're not making sense right now. You're attacking me for what reason? You think I was attacking you? That's what you thought was happening?
To get him back on track.
I just want you back on track.
Do is go after him viciously. You've already shit all over me.
I've had enough.
And if you try to rub it in, I just at that point, I don't care anymore.
So that was very believable. This is Alex being serious. Look at that. This exasperation. I don't know what to do with this guy. If you're not going to put him in an old folks home, I don't know what to do with him. If you're not going to take him out of office with impeachment or whatever political tools you have, then I'm going to have to deal with him because my name came out of his mouth.
And if you try to rub it in, I just at that point, I don't care anymore. So if you think I've been coming after you, if you think that I'm trying to get clicks by...
Alex Jones is like, I'm not Tucker Carlson. I'm not Candace Owens. I am not Joe Kent. Do not play games with me.
Attacking you so the Democrats that don't buy anything from me and don't like me want to put me in jail. If you think I've been on your ass, say one more thing. One more thing out of your mouth. And Laura Loomer, send him this, okay? One more thing.
What if I told you in 2024 that Alex Jones would have crashed the hell out on Donald Trump? Basically talking down to him like he's a child. Say one more thing.
Say one more thing. One more thing out of your mouth. And Laura Loomer, send him this, okay? One more thing.
I bet you Laura Loomer didn't send it to him.
When I've gone through hell back in your ass because you were the lesser of two evils, then I'm going to show you how the cow ate the cabbage.
I've never heard that before. He pulling the ball out his ass. I've never heard that one before. I'm going to show you how the cow eat the cabbage. I don't want to know. Trump doesn't want to know either. Alex is like, I'm going to show everybody.
One more thing. You should be kissing my ass.
Alex Jones has never, ever, ever said anything close to this about Donald Trump. Ever.
But instead, you shit all over me and rub it in. I'm not looking for a fight, but if you want one, you came to the right place. I'm just going to score.
So many drops, man. I just don't have time to clip the drops. I know that's an excuse, but there's probably 5 good drops in that. Yo, Jordan Lott. Alex Jones has flipped the script on Trump. Alex turned beast mode. Don't mess with Alex. We need our homie Dr. Shiva and Alex team up versus the establishment. I would like to see these guys kind of, I don't know, it's like everybody hates Shiva. Jordan. I mean, I know he comes across as arrogant to people. I don't think it's really arrogant. I think it's a guy who never got his just due credit, who's always been banned and ostracized, and he's kind of jaded because of it. But I don't get the take that he is arrogant guy. That's not my take on him. I think he's a guy who's just fed up of being just discarded. Yeah. So why don't I wish he hasn't been on any of these other shows. He only goes on like alt media shows. Only certain people have him on. What's the biggest podcast he's been on? Jordan, was it what's his name? Why do I forget his name? Jeez. Anomaly. God. I haven't watched Anomaly in a while. He's great. I just haven't watched him in a while. That's the biggest one I can remember. So yeah, Alex Jones, Jordan Lott says Alex Jones is going to take the cookie away from Trump. Like he's his daddy. I don't know, man. I'd never seen anybody. I don't know if I've ever heard anybody speak to Donald Trump like that. Have you? I've never even ever heard anybody speak to Donald Trump like that. I don't think. I mean, even Nick hasn't crashed out like that. I got to go back and listen to that stream, man. I just saw that clip and I was like, I gotta get that out the way, man. Damn, Alex Jones. It's messed up. Like Clav came out and kind of tried to clean up the overdose thing, and I'm like, I almost want to support Clav again, but Alex, man, if Alex keeps that energy up, I will start listening again to the podcast. That's the Alex Jones. Now, the Alex Jones I really listened to back in the day was kind of more goofy as well too, with the alien stuff and dressing up as aliens. He mixed it up, but that energy right there that's the Alex Jones, man. That's some real stuff. Dr. Shiva's been on Mike Adams in 2024. I didn't know that. I missed that one. He was doing the rounds. Friend of show, Jordan Lott and Dr. Shiva Ayadori. But the purpose for us to gather today is to discuss what needs to be done, or what I'm actually predicting will be done. I think that JD Vance is going to resign. I went from saying that it should happen to looking at the chessboard and saying it will happen. This is the coliseum, the political coliseum. So JD Vance started out basically dissing Trump, calling him Nazi, all kind, basically the leftist stuff. And we're, JD Vance, that was probably 3 names ago when he had the different name 3 names ago. Makes me wonder about his background, because there's certain people I've been seeing that always change their name. But I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying it's kind of weird. But, when you're not like, you see the Jeets do that all the time. Like Bobby Jindal and even Nikki Haley. They all change their name. I can see that. And then, of course, you have the hats do it. The noses do it. But J.D. Vance changed his name. What was he? James. And it was all this. I have to look it up. I don't even have it off the top of my head what his real name was. Changed it like 3 times. J.D. Vance is a dope name. I mean, it rings. It just rolls off your tongue. So he finally got it. But it's kind of like the channel. We were stuck in the middle MAGA, index red. But he's reinventing himself. And this is going to be another piece of that, is I am making the prediction. And every time I make a prediction, not true, actually. I predicted that MAGA was turning us to a war economy. We just saw news that Donald Trump went to the auto manufacturers and basically said, we want you to stop making cars as much and start helping out with defense. Because Tesla has that on lock. These gas cars aren't going to be, these ICE vehicles aren't going to be the thing. We can only hold back China for so long. You guys are going to be out. You guys need a buyout. It's going to be hard to just do a buyout for ICE vehicles, but we can do a buyout or subsidize you if you're building bombs or whatever else we need you to do. That was, I said that was about 2 weeks after I had said that MAGA's changing us to a war economy. So I do get vindicated at times, but it is troubling for me to make a political prediction. I'm still scoring about the red wave thing that I got wrong from what was that? I don't even know how, 4 years ago or whatever. Yeah, it's 2022. But I'm just going to say I feel it. I feel strongly about it. I think that JD Vance is going to resign. And I think it's a smart move. I'm not a JD Vance supporter, but I think that will happen. It's the type of discussion that you're not really going to hear on Fox News, but it's almost like the elephant in the room at this point. How long is he going to last? JD Vance is in a trap right now. He's been set up multiple times. How many times is he going to try to do that fat face cheek smile as they set him up with failed mission after failed mission, getting stabbed in the front, stabbed figuratively, politically, stabbed in the front, stabbed in the back. Now, I know JD Vance is not someone to trust, but the fact is he's getting stabbed. He went over there trying to negotiate. Jared Kush stabs him in the front and in the back. This is a sinking ship. He is in basically somewhat like a Sneeko. This is kind of a recurring theme. Sneeko in a political prison that he made it for himself. Clav, not political, but was in a streaming prison that he made for himself. We talked about Tim Pool in a political prison that he made for himself. You see Ashley St. Clair. She's flipping the script. You know why she's flipping the script? Because the baby mama thing put her in a prison and she's breaking out of it. She's really, it really gets on my nerve when people underestimate the intelligence of other people. That really gets on my nerves. It really perturbs me. I don't know why. It's just a pet peeve. Ashley St. Clair is highly, highly intelligent. What does that mean? I think maybe people don't understand intelligence. Like I don't think just because she's not a scientist or maybe doesn't know calculus. Or what do people think intelligence is? She's very savvy and not someone to mess with. Candace Owens is highly intelligent. Yeah, intelligent. Yeah, I know she, very similar to I. She'll mess up words and stuff like that. Very similar to me, but that doesn't mean that she is not intelligent. That doesn't mean she's not a worthy opponent because she has good traits. She's not some low IQ Somali. She's not some low IQ Haitian. And Ashley St. Clair is very bright, and she's breaking out of that prison. And that's what it would be for JD Vance. The resignation would be to break out of the prison. Joe Kent did that. And, they're all in cahoots. So it doesn't really make sense for Tucker's son to be working for JD Vance, working with JD Vance, getting pot-shotted by Laura Loomer every day. Then the president's pot-shotting his daddy. So that's just an awkward situation. And the only way for JD Vance to get out of this rut is to leave, is to resign. And not only that, it kind of gives him a boost in credibility. If you look like a credibility bar, would he get more credibility staying with Trump or leaving Trump? It's not like Trump can get another term. So I just think you're on the Titanic, it's the cliche, and you're seeing the iceberg, and it's time to get off. It's time to hit a lifeboat. It's time to figure something out. JD Vance has got to get out of there. You've seen people clown him. Nick Fuentes jumped on X today just to clown this dude. And I don't blame him. Well, you knew Nick was going to do it. But it's weird that all this is happening while Nick is out, man. It's crazy. It's so much happening while Nick is out. And you're like, damn, that always happens. It's always if you're out for a day or something like that. So Nick posts a picture on X of JD Vance kind of, it's just kind of an awkward stance. You could frame anybody in some awkward gay looking stance, but it is the perfect JD Vance meme stance where he's just kind of awkwardly framed. And it's weird because he lost weight. He might be lighter than I am now. I mean, but for some reason he still looks fat. I don't know if it's just because of the memes or what. His cheeks are puffy. If he shaved his beard, he would look really weird. So Nick won't, somebody get Nick off this dude. When Nick comes back, man, he's gonna be on this dude. But and this live for me isn't really to knock JD Vance. It's just more to talk about. I think I just wanted on record, to be honest with you, that it's my prediction. But Nicholas, from the desk of Nicholas J. Fuentes, me on my way to make Viktor Orban lose, fail at diplomacy with Iran, get stood up by Erica Kirk for being unpopular. Erica Kirk was like, ew, I don't want to be seen with that nigga. It was weird because it was what, 6 months ago where JD Vance was feeling up the widow. I mean, this is what it looked like with her black leather pants on. I mean, I don't condone it, but I understand. And then 6 months later, Erica Kirk's like, ew, I don't want to be on stage with. She's probably backstage while he's on the stage. And she's kind of peeping around the corner scene like, damn, ain't nobody out there. And she's just like, okay, I'm out. Just left that nigga naked on the stage, man. What an embarrassment for a vice president. What an embarrassing moment. He just plays it off with that goofy ass smile on his face. It's like every day is the donut shop day. That donut shop clip, that was the perfect microcosm of just JD Vance. And it's not like he's really a bad politician. I say he's like Mayor Pete Buttigieg. He's very polished. I think he'd be a great debater. He has debated a little bit. He's a good debater, really knowledgeable. I mean, the stuff is just well spoken. Stuff flows out of his head. I mean, he even talks to the people. He's pretty much textbook, but he's just not organic. And so he has that goofy ass smile on his face. He's on the stage. Erica Kirk stands him up. She calls in sick to work. I mean, she was literally there, and the plane landed. I don't know what happened. I don't know for a fact that she was in the arena, but it felt like she was in the arena. And just said, I don't want to even be a part of this. This is beneath me. You know, this is beneath me, but it's not beneath JD Vance. So he had to be out there with his goofy, fat-cheeked smile. Honestly, I feel kind of bad for him, man. There's part of me that kind of feels bad for him, believe it or not. There should be no part of anybody that feels bad for JD Vance. I kind of feel bad for him, man. He's just that goofy-ass dude. If his rise was organic, I would feel bad for him. But Nick goes on to say, become the least popular vice president in U.S. history and lose the nomination to Marco Rubio. You know, that's such a well-constructed tweet. It's good that he didn't even use the syllables to say nominated. Lose the nom. I wonder how long it takes him it's just well-constructed. I just do voice to text and it's garbage. And that's pretty much, it's been a bad week for JD Vance. It's been a bad week. But it's up to him. He can turn it around. I mean, it's not something you can't fix. I mean, there's almost no problem that you can't, over time at least fix. And there's plenty of time before 2028. It's an eternity before 2028. And when would he resign? I don't know. People would say after the 2 years. You have to do 2 years before it's not considered well, he's going to resign. That would be the impeachment of Trump. I apologize. But timing wise, I don't know. I have to think through the timing of when it would happen. I think now is the perfect time to flip around the polls, all that. It kind of avoid being a part of the midterm rape that's going to happen to the Republicans and MAGA. I think now is the time, and I am saying that it is going to happen. You can clip it and embarrass me when it doesn't happen, but I think it is going to happen. We're going to break down how we got here tonight. That's what we're going to do tonight. The blacks are in the building. What? Why do blacks believe anyone cares what they say? I have no retort to that. Fair point. The blacks are in the building. No, you're always welcome. Now, if you're a race realist, I'm cool with that. If you are, that's what it sounds like, obviously, from that comment. But yeah, the blacks have stopped by. I would have never guessed. Would have never known. It's the JD Vance show. I should probably put the JD Vance show in the background with no audio as we talk about the JD Vance show. It's the JD Vance show. It's the JD Vance show. Goofiest nigga of all time. I mean, he's even goofier than Mayor Pete, like way goofier. Mayor Pete's not even really goofy. He's just, kind of inorganic. This dude is goofy. So I think what I want to start with is I haven't talked about they set him up. I don't know why he's doing. That's the other thing about when you're VP, you really can't say no. So if Trump asks you to do something, I mean, you basically have to do it, right? I mean, you can't say no. And there's no way that everybody kind of knew that Viktor Orban was going to lose. But they just still put him out there like that. Marco Rubio didn't go out there. Marco Rubio was at the UFC fight, I believe. But J.D. Vance went out there April 7th and 8th. He flew out to Budapest to kiss the ring of Viktor Orban. Everyone knowing at the time he probably was going to lose. And it's not like they put him out there and he just was there for a second and left. He had a joint press conference with them. He stood right there. He is the sitting vice president of the United States. You do not want to be associated with a loser. If you know somebody's going to lose, you run away politically, much less a dude in a foreign country. That thing wasn't even news until we saw that he lost, that J.D. Vance had gone over there. Other than that, nobody cares about what's going on in Hungary. So he's on the podium doing a joint press conference with him, actively front-facing, meddling in their election, and saying on record, I want to help as much as possible for this election season. So he's putting his reputation on the line. They had a day of friendship. So that's not it. They had a day of friendship election rally in Hungary in front of Orban supporters. They said it was about 1,000 people. Vance said it was 5,000 people. He said it was 5,000, quote, Hungarian patriots. So embarrassing. He stood on stage. He was like, we have to get Viktor Orban elected. He said, stand with Viktor Orban. Why? Why is he out there like that? I know Trump was cool with him. I don't know if Trump still is. Trump will drop you in a heartbeat, especially if you lose. So I don't know why Vance did that. At some point, you have to say, well, you can push back if you have political leverage. You can push back. But here's a moment just to show you how awkward every day, just to show you how every day is literally the J.D. Vance show. This is at a rally.
Hello, Mr. President. How are you?
Hi. Hey, JD, could you give me a second? I'm just... Wow, that's some... How did you have there, JD?
Mr. President, you are...
This is just insane.
Particular, as you know. I mean, he rewrote the Constitution, he neutered the courts, he has tried to control the media. These are not necessarily conservative principles. So why would you want to mimic him?
Well, look, I'm not endorsing every single thing that Viktor Orban has ever done. I don't know everything he's ever done. What I do think is on the university principle, the idea that taxpayers should have some influence in how their money is spent at these universities, it's a totally reasonable thing. And I do think that he's made some smart decisions there that we could learn.
But Viktor Orban in particular, as you know.
So he's
I mean,
the
he
news
rewrote the Constitution, he neutered
using
the
political capital to stump for Viktor Orban. I never really heard J.D. Vance talk about Viktor Orban like that.
You also campaigned for Viktor Orban in Hungary, and he lost that race, defeated after 16 years in power. Your thoughts about whether it was worth it to go support Viktor Orban in that race, considering he lost significantly, and he's one of the only European leaders who supports Vladimir Putin?
Well, first of all, Brett, I think that Viktor Orban's a great guy who's done a very good job. I think that his legacy in Hungary is transformational, 16 years fundamentally changing that country. But one of the reasons why we decided to do that, Brett, is not because, we can't read polls. We certainly knew there was a very good chance that Viktor would lose that election. We did it because he's one of the few European leaders we've seen who's been willing to stand up to the bureaucracy in Brussels that has been very, very bad for the United States. So, for example, when you see a European bureaucrat go after an American company, sometimes the only vote no, the only vote to protect that American interest has been Viktor Orban. We didn't go because we expected Viktor to cruise to an election victory. We went because it was the right thing to do, to stand behind a person who had stood by us for a very long time. So,
man, that's tough. He's always in these tough positions where he's now, why is he having to defend this? Just crazy. Oh man. I don't know, man. That's crazy. And he's basically calling Viktor Orban on the phone, and it's just awkward and weird. I don't know, man. This JD Vance experiment, I've been referring to him as the Prince of MAGA. I think it's pretty much over. So then he went to Pakistan, this Pakistan kind of meeting, and this is about trying to save face with the anti-war crowd. So this is right after the Hungary disaster. He went over to Islamabad to be the negotiator in chief. He rolled in there with Steve Witkoff, and then, of course, Kush sat across Iranian officials and tried to negotiate an end, without making America look bad, to the war. So he presents his case. It looks like they are making progress. It was 21 hours of work that he's doing. Negotiating, arguing back and forth, his people talking to their people. This is how the article I was reading on this kind of covered it. They took tea breaks, but it was a long session. So over a span of 21 hours, they said 21 hours straight, obviously with breaks in there, but they came down to one thing. And Kush wouldn't let go, wouldn't let JD Vance kind of negotiate the enrichment of the uranium. That's what it came down to. That's what the reports say, and I actually believe that. So they couldn't stop on that. The American position was always, hey, you just can't have a weapon. They went further and said you can't enrich the uranium at all. So that was the sticking point, is what it looked like. And JD Vance didn't argue that from the reports. So on April 12th, this is less than a week after the Hungary disaster, 6 a.m., Vance has to go in front of the cameras and really try to play off what happened. Kush is there. Kushner is really just elated because he didn't want a deal. Israel, for whatever reason, I don't know what they're trying to do here, just dragging on or what, because they're not going to be able to. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to regime change him. I don't know what they're looking at, if it's a nuke or what they're hoping for. He has to come out, and this is a clip of how it looked. This is unedited. Kushner came out happy. If you can't see it, it's very fuzzy to see. I'm playing the video now. Kushner came out, and he looks like he's smiling. He doesn't look, should be a somber type of cleanup type press conference because negotiations failed. And they were supposed to be there negotiating. Kushner, the win was supposed to be, we're ending this thing. We're opening up the strait. Kushner looks kind of happy as he's walking in. JD Vance is at the podium. Kush does not look somber at all. The guy actually kind of does. He looks kind of subhuman, to be honest with you. Weird smirk on his face. And then JD Vance has to get up there and kind of tap dance and BS for it. And you have to do that in politics sometimes. But again, another situation where JD Vance was set up to fail. And he can spin it. If he were to resign, he can spin it. Cyan, what's up? Long time no see. Cyan says we're assuming there will be elections this year alone in 2028. JD to me has no charisma personality-wise. If he had honor and integrity, he'd resign. Cyan coming in hot with the $5 super chat. Thank you. Appreciate you. Coming in real hot. So first of all, saying we don't know about the election at all. You mean the midterms? You don't think there might be a midterm? Wow. She said this year. Cyan says we're assuming there will be elections this year. So there could be, we don't know what's going to happen with this war. The strait's still basically closed. So that's a pretty serious thing. I don't know how they're going to resolve that. Trump's bluff has been exposed. So what I'm getting at is that 2026 midterm, there's no guarantee. I fully agree with that. I don't know what the chances are. I wouldn't make that prediction at this point that we wouldn't have a midterm, but anything's possible. We don't know what's going to happen. The strait's still effectively closed. It's technically, from my understanding, open, but the U.S. is blocking ships from coming in, and there's no real ships coming out. So, and nobody's obviously insuring ships right now to get insurance for their cargo. So it's effectively still closed, is my understanding. I don't know what the stock market's been going up. I was very surprised by that, to be honest with you. I think the stock market went up bigly today, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't watch it closely. So I don't know if I always leave room to be wrong. Somebody might know something I don't know. I'm shocked. I'm shocked by it because Trump's already played all his cards. And Israel's not going to, whatever it takes, it's not even really about the uranium. Whatever it takes, Israel will not let the deal go through. Unless, I don't know, unless something changes. They're the final arbiter of what's going to happen. So from a market standpoint, I'm not looking very optimistic on that. So I'm not a big shorting stock type of person, but I'd be looking at shorting stock potentially. I'd be looking at what that would look like right now for certain. What's the best way? You can do these reverse funds that go up when the markets go down. I'm not buying in right now, that's for sure. I don't know. I don't understand that. Last I heard, Europe only has what? Does Europe have like a few weeks left of oil or something like that? We'll see where they turn for it, but I don't think we are equipped. I don't even think the U.S. is equipped to even supply, if they wanted to supply all that, which Trump was talking about. So that was a big statement that Cyan's saying there. Then Cyan says JD has no charisma and it's just tough. That is tough. He tries. But then she says, so Cyan says he should resign not from political strategy, just because he has honor that he's a joke. just out of honor. So I like that. That's a different perspective. Cyan always bringing a different perspective. I'm saying he should resign as a political strategy. And then look, you JD Vance resigns. You have maybe Tulsi resigns too. Actually, it doesn't even matter if she does or not, because you have Tucker, you have your Peter Thiel kind of network. You've got your Robert Barnes out there, on a lesser level, even though I think very highly of him. But you have some momentum with people like that. Benny Johnson, you have Benny Johnson on your side. If he would just be smart enough to stay out of spats with Ashley St. Clair. I think he should just go behind the scenes and apologize to her and don't mess with her. It's not worth it. Why? But once he gets out of that tangled web, and more gay allegations out there, like what is it? Who cares? If Benny Johnson is gay, who cares? I don't really care. But he has that to untangle. But you have Benny Johnson. So what I'm saying is, imagine JD Vance resigns, and you throw another TPUSA event and say, you know what? Yeah, that last one was whack. They're not owning up to it. Andrew Clovette is not. They're not owning up to the whackness that was the organization. At least that one event. Barry Weiss's CBS News is going after them. Not going after them, but reporting bad news from them. That's kind of interesting. Barry Weiss. I didn't think Barry Weiss's outlet would be doing that, but it kind of makes sense because Barry Weiss's outlet is obviously Jew Zionist, but it's tied into Trump. And for Erica Kirk to say there was a threat on me, but not JD Vance, I don't think Trump would really care about JD Vance. Obviously, he doesn't care about JD Vance embarrassing himself, but I think he would care about the Secret Service. Or it could be separate from Trump and the Secret Service just leaking it because they care about themselves. But they went to Barry Weiss, if you don't know, and said, no, there's no threat that we're aware of for Vance. So that indirectly says there was no threat because there is no circumstance where there would be a threat against Erica Kirk and it wouldn't affect JD Vance. So they basically indirectly throw Erica Kirk on the bus through CBS News. CBS News is Larry Ellison. It is tied into Trump, and it kind of threw TPUSA under the bus. So that's a good sign if you want to go back at Trump. JD Vance resigns. You have Benny. You throw the huge event. You have it go on the podcast. You have the huge event. Benny Johnson, Tucker Carlson, Joe Kent, Dave Smith. Get the gang back together. Maha, Libertarians, MAGA, Thomas Massey, whoever's going to come out. I know they wouldn't, but I would even bring out Candace Owens. I would squash the beef. Obviously, none of this is going to happen other than JD Vance resigning. Maybe it would happen in a way, but Candace Owens going on stage wouldn't happen. But I would do that too if you want to talk about what would work politically. Yeah, I'd politically. I'm not a supporter of JD Vance. I'm not a supporter of Candace Owens anymore. But that's not the point here. You bring out. Could you imagine that Alex Jones on the stage too? Just that, Megyn Kelly, and they would all be on the stage with that energy, and then JD Vance would be the headline speaker, of course, no Ben Shapiro, and JD Vance would have more credibility than he has now. And that would be the start of the whole new movement. You'd get ahead of it before 2028. You get ahead of it before the midterms. And you call it New MAGA. Maybe Lauren Boebert joins you. I don't know if you want her or not, but you could get other people because of that momentum, because Lauren Boebert's kind of like, ooh, MTG, obviously they're not cute, cool, but MTG kind of turned on Trump. Maybe you get MTG in it. I never saw MTG. Did she ever do anything with Turning Point? I never saw that. But maybe I'm wrong. I just don't remember that. But you could get her in it. I'm sorry. That's a great, that's a turnaround. You could get some buzz over that. And Donald Trump would be spazzing out, giving you free press, and you could be classy above it. I think that would be the right play for TPUSA, to be classy and to be above it. And you just steal the political limelight from Donald Trump. It's an obvious plan. I guess the question is, would the TPUSA Jews want that? I don't know. Has Trump outlived his usefulness for them? I don't know. I don't know if they would allow that. The donors to TPUSA. By the way, what is TPUSA doing with all their money? Like, if you have that much money, you can't get more than 100 people or whatever, hundreds of people to show up to an event? That's weird. I don't know if they're spending it or what they're doing. But that's the situation that you see with it. So he goes out there, he basically does a walk of shame. He had to publicly announce that the marathon session, the big moment for him, it was a total failure. And on top of that, he knows Kushner was at fault. He knows Witkoff. I don't know what Witkoff's role. I know Kushner more. No doubt Kushner had that done. And remember, Benjamin Netanyahu basically said, JD Vance reports back to me. So they go out and do it. So you know Kushner is. Who was the one that was undermining Trump by reporting back to to Israel? Who was doing that? No, it wasn't Mike Lee, was it? It was shoot, I forgot his name already.
I spoke yesterday with Vice President J.D. Vance. He called me from his plane on the way back from Washington. He reported to me in detail, as the people of this administration do every day, on the development of the negotiations. In this case,
Did you catch that? It's translated, but if this is an accurate translation, it says, like the people of the Trump administration do, they report to me every day. Why?
The people of this administration do every day, on the development of the negotiations.
Why?
He reported to me in detail, as the people of this administration do every
So people of this administration, he's talking about Kush. Everyone, all of them.
day, on the development of the negotiations. In this case, the explosion in the negotiations, the explosion came from the American side, which was not willing to tolerate the blatant violation of the agreement to enter negotiations by Iran. Essentially, the agreement was that there would be a ceasefire and Iran would immediately open the crossings. They didn't do that. The Americans were not willing to accept it. He also conveyed to me that the central issue on the table from the perspective of President Trump and the United States is the removal of all enriched material and ensuring that there is no more enrichment in the coming years, and this could be for decades. I spoke yesterday with Vice President.
So that's what, there you have it. All you have to do is find what they say and listen to them. Cyan, $5 super chat says, the Dems are just as much in favor of this war. It's just, will the GOP delay or cancel the midterms to stay in power? Who flees Trump's sinking ship? I'm surprised Lauren Boebert didn't flee because she's going to lose, I think, in her election. I have to unpack that. Yeah, the Dems are obviously just as much in favor of the war, of course, just like the Republicans were with the Ukraine war. They're both for it. It's just the will. It's just will the GOP delay. I don't know. I don't know if they'll have the power to do that. They don't have the political. They don't have the political backing. They're such a mess. I don't think they have the political power to do it. I mean, if they were going to delay or cancel the midterms due to something, it would always obviously be some type of emergency. I think you'd be in danger of waking people up. I think you'd be in danger of angering people on both sides. So I don't know if they have the political power to do that. Who will flee Trump's sinking ship? Right now, it's definitely Tulsi Gabbard's probably the next one. And then J.D. Vance is the one I'm thinking about. I'm trying to think, would there be anybody else? No, there's nobody else. Now, you might see some influencers, potentially. If they're on the Peter Thiel, J.D. Vance side, you know, Tucker's already set the precedent that you can crash out on Trump. He's crashed out too. Not like Alex Jones, but he has. So I think you're going to see more influencers leave. Robert Barnes has left. Robert Barnes has crashed out on Trump. As soon as Trump went after his boy Alex Jones, and I don't blame Barnes at all. Obviously, I would agree with him. Barnes went crazy on Trump. He's been a long-time Trump supporter. Rich Barris hasn't turned on Trump, but I think I could see that happening. You could see him going that route. So there's certain people outside of the neocon MAGA sphere that will change and flip. I don't see the access guys flipping like Patrick Bet-David, Tim Pool, these guys who have access. I don't see them giving it up for that, because if you turn on Trump, you lose the whole access. You probably lose your platform. Those guys do. Yeah, so I think it's going to be more in the streamer realm that you see people abandoning ship. Milokowski crying because Trump negotiated with Iran without notifying Israel prior. Is that his real name? Is that what that is? I forget. I mean, they all have different names. I don't know if Benjamin Netanyahu was his real name. What was JD Vance's real names? And did they switch names? When did they switch names? It's all so tiresome. I mean, it's just so tiresome. The subversion is just so, even if Larry, I was gonna say, even if Laura wasn't really Larry, I'm tired this night. Even if Laura wasn't Larry, there's a lot of switching up and plastic surgery, and it's like they're all like that. Ashley St. Clair, plastic surgery, switching up. Milo, I'm not gay. I'm Christian. You're a Jew. It's just too much, man. It's just so much. His paternal family name is Milokowski or whatever, however you pronounce it. Yeah, that's what I thought. His grandfather was Nathan Milokowski, a rabbi and a Zionist activist. He began using Netanyahu, Hebrew for God has given, as a pen name. That's his grandfather. And the family formally adopted the Hebrew surname when they immigrated to mandatory Palestine around 1920, decades before Benjamin was born. His father was also Milokowski, made the switch as part of the common Zionist practice of Hebraizing surnames to reconnect with Hebraizing to reconnect with Hebrew roots. JD's birth name was James Donald Bowman. That's another guy I have trouble tracking like all his names. Dude has so many names. So JD's birth name was James Donald Bowman. He was born that way August 2nd, 1984 in Middleton, Ohio. After his parents divorced when he was young, his mother remarried Bob Hamill, who adopted him. His name was legally changed to James David Hamill. Middle name switched from Donald to David to keep his nickname JD intact while erasing his biological father's name. So I guess that one kind of, you could say, makes sense because his middle name was Donald and his father's name was Donald. So he switched it up to get rid of the Donald, and then he adapted the person who adopted him his last name. In 2013, right before he graduated from Yale, while he was writing Hillbilly Elegy, he legally changed his surname to Vance, his mother's maiden name, and that of his beloved grandmother, Bonnie Vance, who largely raised him. His legal name became James David Vance. So that one is interesting. That one is interesting because was it a good story with his we're going back into the JD Vance history here. Because he had the Bob Hamill. So what was wrong with the Bob Hamill? I just don't know why he changed the name. He had already changed it to adopt the Bob Hamill, and I don't know how old he was at that time, but I haven't heard much about him. Is he alive or what? Where are we at with Bob Hamill? So it wasn't a good story with Bob Hamill either. I thought I read that book. I guess I didn't read that book. Hillbilly Elegy. I thought I read that. I mean, I'm sure it was in there. So no, it wasn't a good story. Just part of the chaotic story. His mom's third husband. So 6 years old when he adopted the name, and then the marriage turned into screaming fights and physical violence. So, yeah, and then JD's mom had an affair with Bob. Bob found out, affair on Bob with somebody else, I don't know who. Bob divorced her and moved away. So that, I mean, the names kind of make sense when you look at that. That's a good name though. The JD Vance, that's a good name. I mean, these guys aren't stupid. I mean, so yeah, thanks for the comment there. Yep. Yep. They all have different names. You go through, you see all the people from Hollywood, and a lot of them have name changes. It's unbelievable. I would say it feels like almost 50% of them. Jon Stewart, you can go down the list. It's a lot of them. But the next story here in the timeline of basically JD Vance is the whole I don't think JD Vance liked Trump in the first place. So if you don't like Trump in the first place and you're kind of playing this act, then at some point it makes it easy. And Peter Thiel backed Trump, Vance, of course. I don't know if Peter Thiel has ever backed Trump. I don't think Peter Thiel's a big Trump guy. I don't know if Peter Thiel has ever backed Trump. I don't think Peter Thiel's a big Trump guy. He's a JD Vance guy and Palantir guy, close to Israel guy. So that's how he got in the building, is what I say. So because of that, that makes it easy for him to flip. Peter Thiel might be like, fine, I'm fine with that. Because Peter Thiel doesn't really have an in with Rubio, who is the, believe it or not, can you believe that? MAGA is now pushing, not only Secretary of State, they're pushing Rubio for president. That's amazing. That's a hell of a change for a movement. But I'm curious what Peter Thiel has done to support Trump. I'm not aware of much support there. I remember I believe Trump was saying he wanted to go ahead and get more support from Thiel, but Thiel never really messed with it. So looking it up, Peter Thiel has backed Trump before, publicly and financially in 2016, but he's never been a ride or die guy. That's clear. He donated about 1.25 million in 2016. In 2020, he was not a part of it at all. No public support, no donations, nothing. 2024, he explicitly said he would not donate to Trump or anyone, basically, and called his own support in 2016 delusional in hindsight, crazier than I thought. He told people he don't even vote for Trump if you hold a gun to my head. Trump had publicly trashed him at some point. Thiel warmed up after Vance became the VP pick. So you see, that all sets up for my take to be right. Well, I don't gamble. I do have to look at those political sites though, because how crazy it would be if you put like 1,000 down or something like that, and it flips into. I wonder what the odds are. I gotta look that up. What are the odds of JD Vance resigning? I don't know if they put a date. I don't want a date by it, so I don't know when it's gonna happen. I think it could happen at any moment. That's why I want to get my take on record, but I don't really think it's something I can say, oh, it's going to happen in a week or anything like that. So I'm actually going to look it up to see what the odds are. Can you find out what the odds are for gambling? What the odds are for JD Vance to resign, and is it by a certain day or by, I don't know, when, any time in the second term, Trump's second term? We'll take a look at that and see what the political odds are. So you have Poly Market, and then you have this, what is it, Kelsey or whatever? Not a Kelsey. I'm not a fan of these things. The sporting sites. I mean, it's just really bad stuff. So there aren't any major high volume gambling markets actively offering specific odds right now on JD Vance resigning as president. That's because the betting markets see it as extremely unlikely in the near term. Vice presidents almost never resign. The last one was Spiro Agnew in 1973 over a scandal. Because vice presidents are in the background. But that's exactly why he needs to resign, because he can't really defend himself. Kalshi Prediction Market had an active market last year on JD Vance out as vice president before January 1st, 2026. Why would that be? Trading around 6%. Why would he have resigned before January 1st? That market closed, of course, with no replacement. So why would it have been a 6% implied probability that he would have resigned before 1/1/2026, but there wouldn't be one now? Smaller manifold markets. Oh, okay. So Vance shows up as less than 1% chance of being the next one out. And that's who will be the next one to leave. This one Cyan was talking about. Who will be the next one to leave? And that one says leave, so is it going to be forced out or what? I heard rumors that Trump was going to force out Tulsi. I wouldn't want to bet that he would be the next one to leave, though. Because that's what you could see them playing games with that. He might leave, but who's going to be next? Because Tulsi could be before him. Will JD resign during Trump's second term? Manifold markets, I don't even know what that is. Trading around 12%, that's pretty high. So it says anytime in the full term, but it's not a real money gambling site, okay? So that's interesting. Watch that pop off, watch. And then watch me be sick. Leading GOP that might run in 2028, JD, Marco Rubio, DeSantis, Ted Cruz, of course, Tim Scott. That's such a joke for all of them. You really need to be a celebrity. That's why they're very big on trying to meme JD Vance, even though the memes make him fat face. It's the biggest thing to make him feel like bigger than he is. So they're leaning into it. Same with Marco Rubio. They keep memeing him because they're trying to make him a celebrity. Ron DeSantis has no chance. He's just not a celebrity like that. And I don't know if you could really do it. I think you really have to have for president, you have to be kind of like a celebrity status. Ted Cruz is not a celebrity. Tim Scott isn't. I mean, that's just a joke. Gavin Newsom is somewhat of a celebrity. I don't think he's enough of one, but he is somewhat of one. AOC is a celebrity. So those are the type of people that I would predict would have a chance. Celebrities with some type of credibility about them. But I don't see like the Marco Rubios. Well, they're trying to meme him, so he probably has a little bit of a chance. I don't see the other ones, though. But who knows? So, yeah, remember JD Vance said, so I'm going back and looking at some of his old quotes. He called Trump the opioid of the masses in a 2016 op-ed for The Atlantic. J.D. Vance called him that. He sneered at the entire MAGA movement, calling it a quick high that poor, struggling Americans were shooting into their collective veins. He wrote, quote, Trump's promises are the needle in America's collective vein. He turned out to be right, believe it or not. So he spent all of 2016 attacking the base on MSNBC and CNN. He said there was definitely an element of Trump support based in racism or xenophobia. And he pulled out all the stops. He said that Trump was taking the white working class and pulling them, this is a quote, pulling them in a more racist direction. All this stuff was in the dossier that Trump did. So obviously Trump knew and all his people knew. So Vance even went to the Me Too playbook in I'm just going through the dossier right now. He said, this was a tweet, what percentage of the American population has, and at him too, at real Donald Trump, sexually assaulted? Then he went on with Chris Matthews on MSNBC's Hardball. Remember that show? To defend Trump's accusers. Man, I didn't even know some of this stuff. He went hard on that. He called Obama an admirable man and that Obama gave him hope. He literally went with the hope card. He wrote, for that, I'll miss him and the example he set for Barack Obama. How does that guy become vice president with all this? This is crazy. I mean, it's not even half of it. I mean, he went all in. Chips all in the table against Trump. And now he tries to play the working class hero. Well, Vance was at the TPUSA event. And, they're doing all the questions to try to make the guys feel kind of more organic, to take questions from the audience, questions you can't really be prepared for necessarily. You don't know what's going to happen. And he didn't do well. I think he was shook because of what happened with the Erica Kirk kind of calling out on him. But here's J.D. Vance getting asked from a student, basically, the economic reality right now is not good. You know that, right? And J.D. Vance didn't know what to say.
Seeing different sides of a somewhat similar narrative, how would you respond to somebody who says that the only way to succeed in this country is to come from a generationally wealthy family?
That's a good question. Wow, I didn't expect that one. Well, first of all, it's just not true. And I think that one of the things that, a very powerful thing that somebody told me is that, disadvantage and unfairness, it is true. Not everybody started at the exact same place. Some people were dealt a much worse hand than others. But what somebody, again, this person gave me a very good piece of advice and said, no matter what hand you were dealt, you have the responsibility to play it as well as you can. And I think that for me, at least, there was something empowering for me about recognizing that, yeah, my life wasn't as easy as most other kids. Like, I wasn't born with money. I wasn't born with parents who had connections, but I still had a responsibility to God. I had a responsibility to myself to play that hand as well as I possibly could. And that was very empowering to me. So I think first the message is, look at the stories. Look at Clarence Thomas. Look at all the people in the United States who have come from very humble beginnings and achieved great things. You can believe, as I do, that we have to do a lot better job by the young people of this country, while at the same time knowing that you are the master of your own destiny. Never give up on yourself and never believe that you're a victim of circumstances, because when you believe that.
So I don't think that was a good answer. He struggled. He didn't know what to say. And he just basically went with pick yourself up by the bootstraps. Cyan says leading GOP that might run. Oh, I already had that one. Let me see. Did I get this one? To fall, someone has to rise. No, Vance never rose. This is Cutter, Tulson, Erica O, Candace Kirk. To fall, someone has to rise. No, Vance never rose, so he's not falling. He is at the base. That is an interesting thought because he's saying Vance never rose, so did he fall? So I said the fall of J.D. Vance. No, he rose. He's vice president. So he rose. I mean, he's very young, actually, too, compared to most vice presidents. So, no, he did rise. So I'll disagree with that. But I know what you mean. He was never quality. So I definitely see what you're saying there. So basically, he's a fake populist. That's not a populist answer. You know, Steve Bannon would have a better answer than that. Let's run that back. Let's run that back and see what would the answer be. So somebody comes up and asks you this.
Seeing different sides of a somewhat similar narrative, how would you respond to somebody who says that the only way to succeed in this country is to come from a generationally wealthy family?
That's a good question. Wow, I didn't expect that one. Well, first of all, it's just not true.
I think, to me, you're on the stage with TP. I haven't thought this through, but you're on the stage with TPUSA. I would want to give a nod to TPUSA and say that if you want to change, I would say absolutely it's true. Let me just listen to it again.
Sides of a somewhat similar narrative. How would you respond to somebody who says that the only way to succeed in this country is to come from a generationally wealthy family?
Well, then there's two parts to that. How do you define success? So no, that's not true because success isn't just, money and all that. But I know what you mean. So from that standpoint, our country needs to do better. I mean, there's no question about that. And I think it starts with movements. But I can't. JD Vance can't really say that because he's in power now. So, but I guess he could say, we're in power, we're trying to do these things, and movements like TPUSA are how we're going to get some of these Republicans out. That this is not my take, this is what he would say. But if I would say along the same lines, this is how we would make the change. I'll go here, actually. Myron had a similar question. I actually criticized his answer. This is where I would take it, actually. What you're feeling is the power, a disproportionate power in charge in our country that's not America first. So you really could twist it that way.
Who did 9/11? Straight up, who did 9/11?
It was multiple entities, multiple. So obviously, the United States knew it was going to happen. The Saudis were involved.
Larry Silverstein.
As well. Yep.
He's going to get to where I'm talking about. I'm just going to let it go. But in about a minute or so, they're going to get to the connection. Like, you need generational wealth. Really? Yes, because we have too many people in power in D.C. who are not America first. And that has to change. And it is Zionist, it is Jew in nature on both sides of the aisle. And we'll get there.
And Israel. Those three different components, like, basically, we're all working together, whether they know it or inadvertently, known or inadvertently, work together to allow 9/11 to transpire.
So what do you think about, Charlie Kirk got asked about that question and he kind of dodged around it. And what do you think about how that whole situation came about? Because,
well, Charlie Kirk's getting money from people who you would be talking about, basically, who are in that realm. So he made that sacrifice. And we all have a boss. Are you going to talk bad about your boss? That's really what that answer is.
I feel like he knew and he kept dodging around the question. Like, was he scared? Or, like, what do you think?
Look, out of respect for Charlie, he's passed away. So what I will say is I'll kind of just address, I'm assuming you're talking about the dancing Israelis?
Yeah.
So, I guess
we've talked about that. I'm going to move. I am going to skip forward a little bit.
When they interviewed the individuals, they lied and said that they were Guantanamo Bay or actually happened.
Yeah. So how can we get Jewish presence out of the government?
See, that is the same question. That is the same question. I'm just thinking through this live, so obviously I would have to stumble through it if it was on the stage, which is, It's a hard thing to do to answer those questions on the stage. But thinking through the answer with the time, that's the question. The question she's asking is the question she's asking. At least to me. Because she would be asking it to me. That's my take on it.
Of a somewhat similar narrative, how would you respond to somebody who says that the only way to succeed in this country is to come from a generationally wealthy family?
So that's the question to J.D. Vance. And this is the question to Myron. So I don't like that. What does that mean? How do you do that? So that's why you have to have a quick answer. So these things are going to be off. He says, how do we deal with the disproportionate Jewish power? We have to deal with the lobby. Well, what does that mean? How do you do that? But I love how that question is a casual question now, though. That's definitely a W. That's a white pill. That the question's asked, and it's like we all know it's just a normal question. It's just like our tax is too high. It's basically that common of a question at this point. So he's just kind of doing it because you have to answer right away. So it's just off the top. It's just a stream of consciousness right now, basically. So yeah, I know that, but the question really is, how do you change that? And my first thought is that's why I'm very harsh on the Catholic Church, because the Catholic Church should be in opposition to disproportionate Jewish power. And I know that there's a stance that the Catholic Church is basically out of politics, but that's a lie. We've seen the Catholic Church get involved with politics. But even if you want to say that, from a cultural standpoint, there's plenty of ways that you can change and challenge Jewish behavior, Jewish attitudes, Jewish power, even even if you don't touch politics. But what Jews have a institution, they have a method, and they have a goal, and they have groupthink. Everyone else doesn't. So you need some type of infrastructure. That's what the Catholic Church is. It's not really designed to go against Jews, but it is designed to go against whatever it needs to go against, and obviously be for things as well. And so you could say the same thing. How do you get the Catholic bureaucracy right? I don't know. That's a hard question. But then I would go with the Nicholas J. Fuentes answer is I would have to agree with him, is you have to get into the institutions. You have to be a groiper that doesn't always out themselves as a groiper, doesn't ruin themselves because of crashing out on Jews on social media or whatever you could do, and you can rise up through the institutions. I think that's the best answer that I've heard. When you combine those two things, we need people rising up through the Catholic bureaucracy, though. I don't know if it can happen without a strong Catholic Church. And what I mean by bureaucracy, the top 5 guys that control the money, Pope. It really comes from the Catholic bureaucracy is the Pope, basically. The Pope lays it down. The Pope has already laid down. Israel has a right to exist. So the Pope is Zionist by my definition. So everything else that flows down from it, the money, those in charge, the bishops, archbishops, all of them, they're all Zionists because they have really no choice. There's some of them I've looked up that are very quiet, and you can tell they're probably the ones who aren't as on top on board with it, but they don't speak out. So you need some type of infrastructure, and you need to infiltrate the institutions somehow to get AIPAC out, to get all of that to happen. That's what I would say on that.
Whether overt or covert, we participated in things to help stabilize Israel because they're surrounded by their enemies. So, because they obviously had foreknowledge that it was going to.
So I think that's the issue there. So JD Vance has trouble answering that question. He's going to probably have to have a better answer than that if he's going to run for president. Basically, pick yourself up by the bootstrap. When he runs for president, he'll probably just, he'll just have these policies. They say, I'm going to do this policy. Like Trump had all these policies, none of which I don't think he did any of them. From that Agenda 47, I don't think he did any of them. Cyan says the last thing any VP wants to say is that the American dream is dead. Yeah, because it would be an indictment on them, especially while you're in war. It'd be hard to. That's another reason why he has to resign, so he can say that. I don't know if you need to say the American dream is dead. And it might be true. The reason why I hesitate to say the American dream is dead is I think it's dead for right now. It's not a realistic. It's not as realistic for as many people as you would want right now. But that could change. Because if you say it's dead, to me that means it can't be revived. Hippocratic Oath says, I'd be surprised if Trump thinks JD is going to win. I don't know. I don't think Trump said something. I think Trump said something recently that there's two good candidates, JD and Rubio, kind of hinting at that he wouldn't necessarily back JD Vance, that they both kind of had to fight it out, is what he was hinting at. I forgot what event he was at, or he was asked something, and he basically said, "Hey, they're gonna have to." Basically, he said they're gonna have to go head to head at it. Go head to head. I'm gonna go to Clav real quick. There was a clip from Clav, very short clip that I really liked. This is a day after I said I disavow Clav, but he's a likable guy, man. I'm not gonna force myself to dislike him. I still say I'm not a supporter until I see him act right more often. But this is the video of him seizuring on the floor. It's just, he's got to do a lot to make up for that. This is an old interview, but it's a great clip. It's from the same interview I played yesterday. He's talking about happiness. I'm going to transition off JD Vance to happiness in men.
The thing that I prioritize is like being driven, having like a purpose, being ambitious. It's like not a lot of the things that I do on a day-to-day basis are like the most enjoyable. Like, doing work isn't enjoyable a lot of the times. But it's just something that like needs to be done. Like going to the gym, it's not like an enjoyable thing for me, but I do it anyway. So I have like no regard for like my happiness. Like that seems like a very like immature idea.
Why is that immature?
To prioritize like being happy.
I'm not saying that you need to prioritize it to assess it, but you can still assess it without it necessarily being a priority.
But it's just like happiness as an idea. Like men aren't like supposed to be like happy. I don't really think.
Why are men not supposed to be happy?
Because life is hard, and
can't you enjoy difficult things?
Not if you want to succeed to the highest level that you possibly could.
Does a man need to succeed to the highest level that he can?
No, they don't need to do anything, but I certainly want to.
Yeah, he's a looks maxer. I mean, the looks maxing is in part, you might agree or disagree with it, but it is not in part. I mean, the whole, at least from him, because I've listened to him, I haven't listened to the other looks maxers. From what I've gotten from him, it is basically in all aspects of life. He said, I'm an intelligence maxer. It's striving for excellence is what it basically. It's the chase for excellence. Now, I know, obviously, he's fallen short, but we all are going to fall short. But he said, my goal is excellence. And then he's talking about responsibility there. So he's fallen short. and he has to think about changing to be a father. But that's a very mature take. And I agree with him 100%. I do not go through life every day thinking about, oh, what's my happiness? That's not how guys typically, at least I'll speak for myself. That's not how I walk through life thinking, oh, what's going to make me the most happy? I mean, I think he falls into some of that too, though, but we all do. But you could almost say what makes you happy could be sinful. Very often is potentially, or you think it may make you happy, could be sin. And he's not religious, but he's not a Christian for sure. But it makes you think. When we talk about the hierarchy of God, man, and then family, woman after that, what that means is there's a heavy responsibility, heavy burden. Doesn't mean you can't laugh, doesn't mean you can't have fun. He's not saying that. What he's saying is your pursuit of life is not happiness. That's not his pursuit. His pursuit is greatness. That's what his pursuit is. And of course you fall short, but he has done some greatness too. It's a great clip there from Clav. He's a philosopher in the truest sense, separate from politics. A true philosopher doesn't need politics to be a philosopher. It's about life, about relationships. He talks about that on his streams too. I don't like the in live streams, in real life streams, but as a whole, but there are moments in them that are real. Hippocratic Oath says, American dream. I have an uncle that bought a house in California and raised a family with a stay-at-home wife, and he was on a bartender's salary. Wow, what age? I kind of have a throwback MAGA sweater on right now. That's kind of what the deal was with MAGA. Like this is what from the old middle MAGA days. You can't even see what that is there, but it's old. Like it's a picture of one of those old time, women in the kitchen type from the 1950s, holding up a sign that says "Make America Great Again." But I mean, I thought that's what the movement was. To be honest with you, was about the restoration of the American dream, and then maybe that's why the movement faded. Because if you run on the restoration of the American dream and you're really about the destruction of America like Trump is, then it's hard. How do you pivot back? You have to change over your supporters. There's no pivoting back from that. So Clav, if you want to know why I like Clav, this is a great clip as to why. Way better, more substantive than him breaking down the orbital bone structure of, the 5 out of 10 rated, hose off of Fresh and Fit.
The thing that I prioritize is like being driven, having like a purpose, being ambitious.
Well, this is an old interview, and now I'm seeing that even he was tired a lot. Kind of sounds like me right now on the live, but I'm like twice his age basically. And you can see his eyes are red. I don't think he slept a lot. So he's just a hard worker. I mean, that's a lot of it, but he looks a little strung out, with that. So he's got to improve that. I think this was right after the Fresh and Fit interview, if I'm not mistaken. So that was like November last year, I think.
The thing that I prioritize is like being driven, having like a purpose, being ambitious. It's like,
do you see what he's saying? I prioritize being driven, being ambitious. And I have to tell myself that every day. I'm like, I'm trying to strive for greatness.
Having like a purpose, being ambitious. It's like, not a lot of the things that I do on a day-to-day basis.
It's a blessing to love your job, but even if say you love football or you love streaming, it can be something that becomes just a job as well. I mean, not that you don't love it anymore, but do you want to do it every day or do you want, like, he has to take drugs because of the in real life streams. He's just not, he's just in his normal state. He's just not interesting enough. And that's not a diss or anything. That's what he said. He's just, I gotta be hype. You know, he's gotta be wilding out. He's gotta be less cautious. So he takes the drugs. That's from him. He said that. So he opened up a club too, but I'm still going to be talking about Clav a lot, man. He's interesting guy, and as you can see, he has a lot to say as well. But after he fell out at the what was it at the he fell out at the restaurant, OD basically. He said that the substances are he's just trying to cope while being in public is really where it's coming from.
Day basis are like the most enjoyable, like, you know, doing work isn't enjoyable a lot of the times. But it's just something that like needs to be done. Like going to the gym, it's not like an enjoyable thing for me, but I do it anyway. So I have like no regard for like my happiness. Like that seems like a very like immature idea.
Why is that immature?
Doesn't he? Who does he sound like? He sounds like Michael Jordan. He sounds like Tom Brady. That's who he sounds like. He sounds like Tom Brady going home after practice and watching 4 or 5 hours of film.
Immature idea.
Why is that immature?
To prioritize like being happy.
I'm not saying that you need to prioritize it to assess it, but you can still assess it without it necessarily being a priority.
But it's just like happiness as an idea. Like men aren't like supposed to be like happy. I don't really think.
Why are men not supposed to be happy?
Because life is hard, and
can't you enjoy difficult things?
Not if you want to succeed to the highest level that you possibly could.
So listen to that. Listen to that.
Succeed to the highest
without it necessarily being a priority.
But it's just like happiness as an idea. Like men aren't like supposed to be like happy. I don't really think.
Why are men not supposed to be happy?
Because life is hard, and
can't you enjoy difficult things?
Not if you want to succeed to the highest level that you possibly could.
So is it possible to enjoy difficult? He said you can't enjoy difficult things. Then basically what Clav is saying is if you enjoy it that much, it's probably not difficult.
To the highest level that you possibly could.
Does a man need to succeed to the highest level that he can?
No, they don't need to do anything.
I love that. So for people who don't agree, he's not. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. I'm talking about how I roll. Man can do whatever he wants to do.
You possibly could.
You could go ahead and sleep on the sidewalk and give up everything and just be homeless on the streets of San Francisco if you want to be.
Does a man need to succeed to the highest level that he can?
No, they don't need to do anything, but I certainly want to.
That's dope, man. That's dope. And good questions. You know, I like that back and forth. It's respectful. And it shows you, Clav, he does it. He walked out on that one dude. He's walked out on a couple people, but he walked out on that CBS interview. And the reason why is like, wait, I control this conversation. I don't need to be here. I don't need you. I don't need CBS. So I could walk out.
Was born out of the incel community and movement. And do you identify with that group? How do you feel about being linked to that group of people?
Do I identify as an incel? I mean, how could you ask me that question as a follow-up after you asked me about my relationships to women? I mean, that's quite literally the worst sequence of questions I think I've ever heard.
Well, let me rephrase it then.
I like how dry he is, man. He's just, I've never heard a guy that's this big so dry.
After you asked me about my relationships to women. I mean, that's quite literally the worst sequence of questions I think I've ever heard.
It's hard. He has a point.
Well, let me rephrase it then. Looks maxing was obviously a term created by the incel community. How do you feel about being linked to that group?
I'm not linked to that group in any way. Looks maxing is self-improvement, right? So it's...
Yeah, I fully support it. I fully support it. I'm not going to be taking a hammer to my face or want my kids to, but I fully support the self-improvement movement, and that's all it is.
about potentially even ascending out of that category. And so that would be kind of one of the goals.
Yeah, it makes no sense. It's just, I don't know. Did you do any research at all, or what's going on?
Is to disassociate from being an incel and overcome that. So that doesn't make sense.
So see, I think the interviewer here should have just said what he wanted to say. He wants to link him to Nick Fuentes, is what it sounds like. We'll just say, that would have been a better question if you would have just said it. They're kind of an odd couple. It's a fair question. I think Clav would have loved to have answered it. I want to know. I don't even know the backstory of how. I'll look it up right now if I can find it. I want to look up the backstory on how Clav ended up collabing with Nick Fuentes. How did they know each other, or who reached out to who? Because you can say Nick Fuentes is an incel, and then Clav is a self-improvement guy. And then even in that stream they did, there was not clashes, but it was basically a tale of two different type of guys. There was a lot of respect there, as you can see, but I'm curious about that. I'm gonna look it up with Grok Super Heavy. Gives me a high quality answer very fast, which is why I like it. Much faster than ChatGPT. As far as like high quality answers, you can get fast slop answers from AI. This is fast, like searching the web answers. That's the strength of Grok Super Heavy. But let's see. His name's Braden Peters, by the way, Clav. And they're doing the backstory on how they met. It's having trouble finding it. So let's see how they connected. Clavs has said multiple times on stream that he based his entire social media building strategy on Nick Fuentes' model. I didn't know that. He discovered Fuentes' content when he was around 14. So that's how it was admiration. So you see, if you do your research, like you have good question there. That's why. So Clav sees that, he knows, well, maybe he did do his research. He doesn't want to ask a question that will make this connection look genuine or make us look not bad, basically. So he could see the interviewer working like this is some BS. And who knows what they talked about before the interview, and then you're in the interview, Clav could have picked up, wait a second, I know you know more than this. I know this doesn't make sense based on what we talked about off camera. So where are you trying to take me on camera? The first proper dedicated collab was July 27th, 2025. Damn, that was almost a year ago. That's the one where they sat down and talked self-improvement. Yeah, that was a great collab. I didn't even know who he was. Nick had already started publicly praising Clav as a total Chad and what young white men need. Assertive, going hard energy. I totally agree with that. It's cool to be white, etc. Now, Clav does do some annoying stuff, like he had Blueface on the stage at his club and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm okay. I'm a hip hop fan. Don't get me wrong, but that's Blueface is not Ye. I mean, you can't have Ye at your club probably, but that would be dope if you did, though. He could pull that potentially. That would be too crazy. No, you can't do that. Even if you could get Ye, who would be too crazy? But there are good hip hop artists that you could have got. But he's into that type of stuff. But I mean, it's not the end of the world. Clav has joked about their very first in-person online meeting. That's him and Nick. Young Clav called Nick that old guy. Remember that part? There's a clip. That clip went viral. Nick, you're already the old guy. You're almost 30, man. These young guys, they go look at you like the old guy. I was watching you since I was 14. That's what the Clav says. You're the old guy to me now. So that's a very interesting collab there, how they got together. But that's the legit question here. That's really what he's getting at here.
By the incel community. How do you feel about being linked to that group?
What is that? What are you talking
I'm not
about?
linked to that group in any way. Looks maxing is self-improvement, right? So it's about potentially even ascending out of that category. And so that would be kind of one of the goals, is to disassociate
So
from
then later on, Clav's going to say, are you trying to get political? That's where he's hinting at the Nick Fuentes reference.
being a incel and overcome that.
You can't go anywhere without the Nick, like somebody bringing up Nick or what. It's just everywhere.
So that doesn't make sense.
You also maintain, or you've been seen with certain people who are from all parts of that world.
Here you go again, the third time. Bitch, just say what you need to say. What are we doing here?
I mean, just as an example, you've obviously shared company with Andrew Tate and other, dare I say, rather controversial figures. What?
Do you not know his name? Like, Nick Fuentes is licking Clav. Clav's like, this nigga, man. Clav's like, I haven't slept in 3 days, man. I ain't in the mood for this bullshit. If he would have been up front and said Nick Fuentes, he would have answered the question. Clav's like, nah, man, I'm out. That's the moment Clav's like, I'm out this motherfucker, man. I'm done.
Why do you spend time with people like that?
Are you trying to, I see you want to make this political.
Not at all. Not at all. I'm just curious.
No, that's what you want to do.
No, that's what. Yeah, it is what you want to do. Otherwise, why didn't you name his name? Name.
No,
You know you have
not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I'm not
You want to end
at all
it
doing that.
and talk about.
I'm just curious.
They probably had agreed that it wasn't going to be political.
No, not at all. I don't care about your politics. I know you're not political.
That's why he was like, oh, no.
You've said that repeatedly. I'm just, when you get seen with those people, obviously people make assumptions. I'm wondering what the thought process and motivation for you is.
What are you at? What is the question? I don't even understand. What the hell is the question?
From all parts of that world. I mean, just as an example, you've obviously shared company with Andrew Tate and other, dare I say, rather controversial figures. Why do you spend time with people like that?
Are you trying to, I see you want to make this political.
Not at all. Not at all. I'm just curious.
No, that's what you want to do. Is
No.
You know you have
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I'm not
You want to end
at all
it
doing that.
and talk about.
I'm just curious. No, not at all. I don't care about your politics. I know you're not political. You've said that repeatedly. I'm just, when you get seen with those people, obviously people make assumptions. I'm wondering what the thought process and motivation for you is behind.
Interview. I guess you watched the Piers interview.
I did, yeah.
Too bad I didn't have time to look into, anything about potentially, who your wife cheated with, but don't try to go down that line of questioning.
This is what I talked about. These guys go into interviews typically with ammo on who's interviewing them, just in case something comes up. We can go there if we need to.
With me, all right, because I'm not doing any political.
I'm not married, Clav, but I was simply only asking because obviously you've been filmed with these people.
So I could teach you about looks max, and then maybe you could switch that up. But thanks for the time. Appreciate the interview. All right.
He's so awkward.
All right, got that done. Yes.
I like Clav, man. That's just another good moment from Clav. Okay, I'm back on. I'm back. It was one day. Okay, he OD'd. We're past it. I'm back on the Clav train. That's the homie. I just like the energy, man. I like his style. Okay, I'm back. It was just I crashed out because he crashed out. Who is this? I'm gonna be out here, man. I gotta get out of here. But I'll be streaming tomorrow because I'm working from home. Streaming. I'll be streaming tomorrow, but I don't know who this is. I don't know if it's fake or what, but this woman, man, this woman's going viral who's a car dealer or whatever. And I just like this. This is gonna be another drop for the show.
Have you ever heard this song? Niggas took my kids from me, then they took my bank account. I got so much anger in me, got no way to take it out. Am I too loud? Think I'm stuck in Matrix. Where the fuck's my nitrous? Yes, I am a cuckold like when people fuck on my bitch. You're gonna post on Twitter and say,
chill,
you don't see that. How niggas can't see me in public, I'm kinda driving all
Slow
from Maybach. But oh, the money and fame, I still can get my kids back. Oh, the money and fame, I still can get to see my children. Niggas see my Twitter, they don't see how I be feeling. So I be screaming out to you, bitch, I'm the feeling. One card only. And
Yeah,
can you guys put some? Shut up, god damn it.
Just
Do you have autism? Do you have autism, nigga girl? If somebody's asking me that, like,
Yes.
Have you ever heard this song?
She's a black-
Niggas took my kids from me, then they took
She's a blackjack dealer.
anger in me, got no way to take it out. Am I too loud? Think I'm stuck in Matrix. Where the fuck's my nitrous? Yes, I am a cuckold like when people fuck on my bitch.
She's like, am I too loud? He's like, always.
Have you ever heard this song? Niggas took my kids from me, then they took my bank account. I got so much anger in me, got no way to take
How many Jews do you think rock with this joint? How many behind closed doors be like?
Have you ever heard this song? Niggas took my kids from me, then they took my bank
How
account.
many of them? How many of them bobbing their head when this drops?
Niggas took my kids from me, then they took my bank account. I got so much anger in me, got no way to take it out. Am I too loud? Think I'm stuck in Matrix. Where the fuck's my nitrous? Yes, I am a cuckold like when people fuck on my bitch. You're gonna post on Twitter and say, you don't see that. How niggas can't see me in public, I'm kinda driving all from Maybach. But oh, the money and fame, I still can get my kids back. Oh, the money and fame, I still can get to see my children. Niggas see my Twitter, they don't see how I be feeling. So I be screaming out to you, bitch, I'm the feeling. One card only. And they go, Heil Hitler. Can you guys put some? Shut up, god damn it.
Just
Do you have autism? Do you have autism?
Why are guys, man, the guys are just so cucked. Man, every time I look at the clip, it's always the women going hard. It's always the women going hard. She's doing the bar. She got the bass in it, everything. Doom, doom, doom. They probably banned the bass, just humming it. When you hum the chords, they're probably like, wait a second, somebody's humming that song. Doom, doom, doom. And the guy's like, yeah, are you too loud? Yeah, okay, she's a woman. Okay, who knows if she's Jewish or not. Okay, whatever. But she's doing the song, man. Let her cook. All right, Cyan, I'll see you. I like this comment. Money Burner says, I love watching two autistic people try to complete an interview. That's exactly what that was. Money Burner says, how can you like clavicular? I don't know how else to articulate it. He's not okay. Yeah, I know he's not okay. I'm not okay either. I mean, I really have concerns about the drugs and all that, but he did have a clip where he talked about it. This is part of the reason why I am back on the Clav train. He did talk about his overdose, and I felt him on that. I felt him on it. I think I retweeted it so I can find it quickly. I thought I did. Did I not comment? Oh, I probably commented on it, not quote tweet. But I'm gonna get it. That it's a great comment. He comes across authentic, humble. I mean, what else do you need? And I think he's straight up front about it. He's straight up front about, okay, this is what was going on, and I got to find a different way. Yeah, I did tweet it. It was I was talking about if you're creative, there's always another way. So he has the scandal drop. He has stuff happen. Okay, Clav, you OD'd. We seen you twitching out like George Floyd on the ground. Like, what's going on?
I ain't gonna be doing any more substances for a little while, hopefully for forever. But that means I can't.
That's pretty good. He's like, hopefully forever. So I mean, that's not a strong enough statement, but it's something. So he starts out, says, substances, I'm gonna try and give them up.
All right, I'll stream it. No, it's fucking done for. I ain't gonna.
But he opened up a club and he did do an IRL stream, and some dudes got into a fight or something. But the dude's, what is he, 20-something years old? That's just what do you want? What do you want from that dude, man? Yeah, I'm back on. I'm back. Okay, it was just a day. I'm back. I appreciate that, Clav. That was an honest take there. I'm gonna end with. It was a great AI video, man. I'm big into AI. I love artificial intelligence. I love the videos. Emily Usick used AI to help her with the animation. She is a true animator, but used AI to help with the animation for the JD Vance show. It is a powerful weapon, is a powerful tool. And this one is just a movie kind of trailer, but I thought it was cool. I'm gonna leave you all out with this. But let me answer this before Bob. Money Burner says the man is taking meth and smashing his face. Yeah, he has kids smashing their faces with a hammer, man. That's kind of crazy. And telling young people that this is the way to live. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know. No, that's not. I don't see him telling other people. He says, this is how I live. I am a looks maxer. He doesn't say you have to be a looks maxer. We just saw the clip. I don't know if you jumped in a little bit later, but there's a clip I played already, Money Burner, just right before maybe you jumped in, if you didn't see it, where Clav was talking about happiness, and he says, that's not something I strive for. And they asked him, well, why can't men strive for, what's wrong with striving for happiness? And he's like, a man can do whatever they want to do. They don't have to strive for happiness or greatness or looks maxing. He didn't say all that, but that's what the essence of what he said was. So he's not telling young people to do anything. Young people they gotta take that up on their own. They see somebody striving for greatness and maybe they're just copying him or whatever. But I don't know what the meth thing is. I've heard that. I know that's true. I think it's some type of low dose or something like that. I obviously don't support that, but so I don't support like every action he takes. The overarching thing is he is an unapologetic white man. And it's not just white. The dude that went viral for that video, forget his name. I totally forget his name. Damn. I can't. I don't even know how to find him now. But he's an unapologetic black man. So it's not just white, but there's a high value to that because our country is cooked without unapologetic non-Zionist white men. Unapologetic black men are not going to save this country. It's unapologetic. We can help, but we're not going to save this country. That's why I like the Groypers so much. It's a movement of unapologetic white men. That's the connection. That's the connection between Clav and Fuentes. If they ask, well, why do you hang out with them? Well, they're unapologetic white men. I'm an unapologetic white man, and we can relate on that basis, even though they don't smash their face in with a hammer. They do similar type of things with memes or something like that. So we're really not that much different. So that's why I asked on another stream, somebody name me as many unapologetic with influence, meaning that you talk to somebody at work and there's at least a better than 50% chance that they know who you're talking about. If you talk to somebody at work about Clav, it's probably, depending on the age, they'll know who you're talking about because it's gone viral. Name me as many as you can unapologetic white non-Zionist men, not even Christian, just and Clav is non-Zionist. Name as many non-Zionist unapologetic white men as you can. Wait, go. I'll wait. Go. Money Burner says being unapologetic doesn't make you profound. No, he is unapologetic. That's a fair point. There's unapologetic people who are idiots. So I will have to add that caveat with fair feedback. He's an unapologetic, intelligent, unapologetic, worth listening to non-Zionist white man with influence. Name him. Hippocratic Oath says you probably have to go back to the silent generation to find those men. What was that? The 30s? Or was it before the 30s? After the 30s. When was the silent generation? Yeah. I mean, you're talking about like Henry Ford's types. Yeah. Yeah. Like 30s. Yeah. Yeah. You would have to, that all ended after World War II. All that, basically, that ended the era of unapologetic non-Zionist white men. Charles Lindbergh, Henry Ford, absolutely. Where are they? Who is it now? Money Borner says, brother, stop buying the stuff these grifters are giving you. That's true. I literally have the stuff. No, I'm good. You haven't convinced me. If you have a better take, I will adopt it in the snap of a finger. Your take isn't better than mine. Hippocratic Oath had it off the top of the head. Yep. So that's problematic. So there's a value to this person. You have like Joel Webon, but he doesn't have influence like a clavicular does. Doesn't have influence like Nick Fuentes. You have Nick Fuentes, you have clavicular. Who else? A white, unapologetic, white man, non-Zionist with influence. You can't even count Tucker Carlson because Tucker Carlson is unafraid to name the Jew. Now, Clav doesn't get into that, but he was at the club. They played Hail Hitler, unapologetic about it. He's unapologetic about everything. Tucker Carlson is not unapologetic. So for me, he doesn't count. Even if you count him, that's not a lot, but he does not count for me. He has the influence for sure. You go to work, more than 50% of the people would at least know the name. I'm waiting. I'll ask Grok. Grok, I'm looking for non-Zionist, unapologetic white men with influence to the point where you could go to work. I'm just using that as a hypothetical, and over 50% of the people would know who they are. The only two people I can come up with are Clavicular and Nick Fuentes right now. Who else am I missing on that list? Let's see what it says here. No one's answering me yet. I've said it on Twitter. I've said it on the stream. I know there's at least 3 people watching. What do y'all tell me? Give me a name. Caution. Grok is so woke now. It's really sad. Guidelines caution against promoting hate figures. We are in really problematic times. I said, give me non-Zionist, unapologetic white men, and they talk about, well, where's the hate from? Why is AI looking about we have to be worried about hate figures? Because I said Nick Fuentes is his name, but his name is just hate. I mean, just billion-dollar companies. David Duke, no, he's not at that level of prominence. Mel Gibson, okay? We got Mel Gibson. So I've got Mel Gibson, Nick Fuentes, and Clavicular. 3. Can we get to 5? There's high value here. And Clavicular has the youth. Where do you want the youth? David Duke. Richard Spencer, get out of here. No, absolutely not. Joel Webon, love Joel Webon. He doesn't have the level of prominence that I'm talking about. Sam Parker, love Sam Parker. He doesn't have the level of prominence. Mel Gibson, absolutely correct. I completely forgot about him. I apologize. He is absolutely unapologetic, non-Zionist white man. Absolutely counts. So that's 3. Stu Peters, I'm a fan of Stu Peters. I don't think he has that level of prominence. He doesn't count. That's it. There's nobody else. It's done. There is nobody else. So it's very, not only do I'm back supporting Clav, he's of high value. He must be protected. I did ask him. Yeah, I did ask him. And so Hippocratic Oath, it's it. Mel Gibson, Nick Fuentes, Clavicular. That's it. That's it. Nobody else. Crazy. Yeah, he said Charles Lindbergh, Henry Ford. Who else would we name from them? I'm on a live stream right now, and they're bringing up names from the past. I think pretty much everybody agrees there's not any now really, of any prominence. No disrespect to the ones that aren't at the prominent level at all. I'm just looking. I mean, I think it's fair to set a bar. But they're saying Charles Lindbergh. I'm saying Henry Ford. Unapologetic white non-Zionist men. Who else from back in the day, the silent generation, or at all? I don't want to go too far back, but I guess we can go back as far as we need to. Grok does. I'm on Grok super heavy right now. It does agree. Rockwell. Was that true? It's going through its thinking, so it's not answering yet, but I'm just looking at the names. I'm not familiar with the names. So it says it's looking for anti-Semites. I didn't say anything about anti-Semitism. I guess non-Zionism for I guess a lot of people that's anti. If just being non-Zionist is being a anti-Semite. Let's see here. Coughlin, Father Charles Coughlin. Do we know? I don't know who that is. Stands out as the biggest name you're missing from that exact era. Often grouped right alongside Ford and Lindbergh in historical discussions of 1930s isolationism and anti-Semitism. He was born 1891. History is so important, man. If I were going through school right now, man, history would be so much. And my kids are really, well, my oldest is really getting into geography, history. It's a treat to be able to have him think through stuff. We play a game at the dinner table where we kind of pick a side of an argument. It's my wife's idea. It's just a brilliant idea from her. We just, at dinner, what are we going to talk about? So it's like we play devil's advocate and we throw out a topic. What was the one he picked? Oh, he picked Taiwan and China. He said that so we take a position and you have to defend it. And he made the position. He said that Taiwan should be a part of China. I was like, I had to hide my smile. I was like, oh, that's an interesting one. Talk me through it. It's nice, but you have to kind of back it up. And so we talked through it and did pretty well on it. He knows geography better than me. I don't know these names. Stoddard, Pelly, Gerald Smith. They're calling them all anti-Semites, of course. Willis Carto, William Pierce. I don't know any of them. Is it George Rockwell? Was Rockwell a part of that? I don't know that. The only ones I know are Ford and Lindbergh. Let's check in, since you guys got me back into it a little bit. Let's check in on Lauren Boebert, see how she's doing. Don't worry, Cyan. I'm not gonna. Cyan gave feedback like you crashing out a little bit too hard on the looks of women or whatever. Not in a bad way. Just saying don't be sinful. So Cyan, cover your ears.
Dave Chappelle.
It's the librarian. She's back. Lauren Boebert. We haven't talked about Lauren Boebert in a while. Could you imagine going to your local library and seeing this as the librarian?
Dave Chappelle. He had a lot to say. He had a lot to say the other day. He does not like it when Republicans such as yourself uses transgender jokes as a weapon. And he specifically referenced...
I used his joke, though. I think transgenderism is a joke.
Well...
I mean, to say that children can
be... I don't know if I'll play. It's hard to play this without being sinful. Because then she's saying stuff that I politically agree with as well.
Dave Chappelle.
I'm usually not into the big ones, guys, like the big melons, but there's always an exception to the rule. I'm just observing. I'm not doing anything else, just watching what's going on.
Dave Chappelle. He had a lot to say. He had a lot to say the other day. He does not like it when Republicans such as
I don't know what it is about her. What did 50 Cent say about Lauren Boebert? Did 50 Cent say something about her?
yourself uses transgender jokes as a weapon. And he specifically referenced...
I used his joke, though. I think transgenderism is a joke.
Well...
I mean, to say that...
I can't lie. I like that line. She's like, I didn't use his joke. I said it is a joke.
I used his joke, though. I think transgenderism is a joke.
Well...
I mean, to say that children can be mutilated and castrated, I mean, it's beyond a joke. It's disgusting.
Oh. But what he didn't like was the fact when I guess on the heels of like his stand-up special, he comes to Capitol Hill, you guys take a photo, and then he says like the moment he walks away, you post it on Twitter and you guys have your arms around each other and then kind of take a jab at the transgender community. I think that's what he was saying.
Jab. I was just stating facts. There are two genders.
Okay, I'm tired of the trans stuff. Okay, keep it moving.
Like, I was just being factual.
But that's not what the Chappelle thing was really about, though. Chappelle was saying that he did talk about that, but it was more about the Boebert thing, taking a picture. So did he connect that, or maybe I guess I didn't understand.
Well, the presidency is the presidency. Like you know, if you vote for the person or not, that's your president. This is an authority figure. This is the top law enforcement agency, the top. You know, he's the executor of all of them.
Even when I was was I glazing him? You have to give him credit for the Jew jokes on Saturday Night Live. That's pretty bold. That's pretty crazy. So you have to give him. Drewski doesn't do that. Nobody does that. He went real hard too on that. So he has a lot of courage. But I am pretty sure I warned everybody. He's a black imam. He's your typical Democrat black. So just be careful. Here it is. Your typical Democrat black is going to come out.
America's affairs, and I just have to move my crowd. You know, you can opt out of my crowd, but you shouldn't have to leave America because the president's making the block too hot for you. So you know, and I did resent that the Republican Party ran on transgender jokes. You know, I felt like they were doing a weaponized version of what I was doing. I didn't. It's not what I was doing. I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
This is before I learned the phrase "I respectfully decline," and I was on Capitol Hill, and everybody ran up to take pictures with me from every congressional office. And I just take pictures with whoever asked. I didn't ask how they voted, what their voting record is. And everyone at first was like CBC people. And then here comes Lauren Boebert.
Okay. Here comes Lauren Boebert. Can anybody guess? Somebody tell me a guess why Dave Chappelle said, okay, I'll take a picture with you. I can think of two reasons. Yeah, Dave, just be real. I mean, at the end of the day, don't do this. You're a comedian. You should be making jokes of this instead of turning into some typical 20-year-old Democrat black. You took pictures because she looks like the librarian corn that you watch at night when no one's looking. That's why you took pictures with her. You wrapped around her and you're like, okay, it's hard to say no. She just has that vibe, and nobody would have hated you for it. Instead, you go with this whole typical Democrat black card.
And she said, "Can I get a picture?" And I'd already taken 40 pictures. I
It was so painful. Lauren Boebert wants to take a picture with me. Oh man. Oh gosh. I didn't want to do it. I was looking away. Oh, it was horrible. Ooh.
For everybody. But I didn't know the phrase, "I respectfully decline." So I just took the picture.
He was going to respectfully decline. 1,000 times out of 1,000, he would have respectfully granted the wish.
She posted a picture before I could even get from there to the show and says something to the effect of, "Just two people that knew that it's just two genders." She instantly like weaponized it or politicized it.
Oh yeah, so he did connect it. I didn't realize that was the connection. I thought he was just saying she was going to use it for clout. So that's where that was. Let's get back to Boebert, though. You could just play it. You know, we'll just play it. You know, we'll just play it with the audio off. I think it's better. I think the Lauren Boebert stuff, we'll play it, and we'll just leave the audio off, and we'll end with that. Let's check in on Lauren Boebert, see how she's doing. What's she talking about? I don't know. Let's not go to that. Let's not go to that, Horatius. Let's not do that. She got kicked out of a children's movie for jerking off a Jew. I didn't know the guy was Jewish. Are you serious? I never knew that. We're just using it for B-roll right now. She got kicked out of a children's movie for jerking off a Jew in the seats in the theater. There's no way the guy's Jewish. There's no way. There's no way. I'm tired of this stuff, man. Every time y'all play too much. There's no way. And get me a link to the video, by the way. That's the video I discovered Lauren Boebert. I never, you know what, to be honest, I never even looked at her that way until the movie theater. I was like, is that Lauren Boebert? To be honest, no, I did look at her, but it changed. It amped up after that. I was like, damn. Can you find a link to the Lauren Boebert movie theater video? I did a whole segment on that. Is it true that the guy that she was jerking off or whatever she was doing was a Jew? Why does that matter? I don't know. It's just a politician breaking news. A politician jerking off a Jew. More at 6. More on the shocking news at 6 p.m. Like, it's hard to find a politician that doesn't jerk off a Jew. I'm just curious, though. I mean, because she literally did it. Was it Beetlejuice, was it? Is that what the kids' movie was? Or whatever. Was it the movie? Oh, was it the Beetlejuice remake? Was that the movie? I didn't realize that. She was vaping and got escorted out of the movie. These are the people who vote. Yeah, you wonder why we are where we are. Oh, no, he wasn't a Jew. They said he wasn't a Jew. Quinn Gallagher, 46 at the time, a registered Democrat and co-owner of Hooch Craft Cocktail Bar in Aspen, Colorado. That's what they say. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a lie, so I'm not going to say, but that's at least what the AI is telling me. Grok.
Say it 3 times and she appears in security video from a weekend performance of Beetlejuice, where the congresswoman was kicked out. Boebert. Say it 3 times and she appears in security video from a weekend performance of Beetlejuice, where the congresswoman was kicked out.
No, Horatio, it's not your bad, man. It's they're everywhere, man. I thought who did I think I swore they were Jewish. Andrew Schultz. I swore I knew he was Jewish. I mean, a lot of people mistake him, but it looks like he's not. And it was I forget the other one where I was like, wait a second, what? I forgot. There was another one I was like, there's no way. I thought for sure that they were Jewish. But this is the infamous movie theater night.
Out of the theater for being disruptive. The DCPA says she was vaping. Boebert's team denied that, said the haze was from fog machines in the show. That claim goes up in smoke when you see the video. The pregnant
It was from fog machines.
woman sitting behind Boebert told the Denver Post she asked her to stop vaping, and Boebert refused.
So would you shut the... I wouldn't... Whatever.
Her one-woman show
Because I grew up where everyone was smoking. I'm like, I'm glad you're vaping.
continued, taking flash photos.
Oh, was it Flash? She was acting a fool. Yeah, the Flash photo is way better. Was that? There's no way there's Flash.
Refused. Her one-woman show continued, taking flash photos.
What the? Why is she taking Flash? That's more egregious than the vape to me.
Her one-woman show continued, taking flash photos, raising her hands and dancing, often the only one clapping or standing up.
Well, she's acting kind of like a black, to be honest with you. That's why 50 was like making DC look good or whatever. See, 50 is more real. You see, 50 was real about it. He wasn't like, oh man, I gotta have Lauren Boebert wrap her arms around my waist. Ah, damn. No, he was real about it.
The crowd. Boebert occasionally took a break from being disruptive to enjoy the company of her male companion. He briefly had a grasp on the situation before ushers returned.
Let's go.
And told Boebert she had to leave.
Why?
The theater's incident report says Boebert pulled the "Don't you know who I am" card on the way out.
This is
appearing to give
the
theater
moment.
Employees
I
a single
think
finger
I
salute.
remember. I was on a live. I was on a live stream. I actually didn't know. I don't know if I really looked at her like that. I think I thought she looked good, okay, but
She had to
when
leave.
she came out, like
The theater's
what
incident
the?
report says Boebert pulled the "Don't you know who I am" card on the way out.
I remember the first time I was like, what the hell? Did she just get those things or? And I'm not a real big knocker, especially not fake ones. But I remember the first time I saw those, I haven't looked at her the same way since, to be honest with you. I was like, my goodness, I wasn't even ready for it. I know a lot of you guys already knew, but
Boebert
I like how they said he had to grasp on the situation.
occasionally took a break from.
Oh, I see why you thought he was Jewish. I'm not putting it past. Remember we talked about them changing names? That nose is pretty prominent. So I'm not saying he's Jewish. I just don't blame you, Horatio. Or Horatius.
Occasionally took a break from being disruptive to enjoy the company of her male companion. He briefly had a grasp on.
See, when you do that, you gotta be kind of in the back of the theater, don't you? And that's too crowded of a theater too. You gotta go see a worse movie than that. What theater is that? Is that a play? What theater is that crowded nowadays?
The situation before ushers returned and told Boebert she had to leave.
But they skipped on that one. They didn't even talk about the whole thing. There was one where they literally show face like in his lap.
Truth about the night Colorado Congresswoman Lauren Boebert was kicked out of a theater.
How is she still in Congress? This is our Congress. We have a woman in Congress, number one. And this is what she's doing, number two.
Her version of events going up in smoke. After denials, she was vaping inside a Denver theater during a musical performance of Beetlejuice.
Oh, it's musical,
This
okay.
video clears the air. Boebert is seen on video blowing smoke before the start of the show. The Colorado Republican representative is also seen dancing and clapping along to the music,
She's
her arm
lit.
raised above her head, even using flash photography.
Yeah, she's drunk out of her mind, allegedly.
A woman sitting behind her appears to lean over and say something to Boebert. At one point, her date is apparently unable to keep it.
I wonder if it was more the flash than the vape. Who knows?
His hands to himself.
Yeah, he's like, you know what, Horatius? Wait a second. You see that nose, bro? No, I know. I'm not buying this one. No, I'm not buying this. That don't even look right. Like, if he's not Jewish, that's amazing. No, I see why. I never even thought of that before. I don't know if I believe it, to be honest. I'm being dead serious, too. I'm not even joking. His name was something Gallagher. That's what Grok said. Grok could be absolutely wrong. His name is Quinn Gallagher. Yeah, I'm not buying that. I want to see. I want to double check that. And then sometimes they say sometimes the AI will look at it and say, "Oh, he's not religiously Jewish," and I'm like, "Bitch, it means more than that, right? You're literally AI." Really pisses me off. So you always have to say, is he ethnically? You even have to say, are either of his parents Jewish, just to break it down. And this is, what's his name? Quinn Gallagher. Yeah, that knows I'm going to have to double check that. There's enough visual evidence to want to just double and triple check that. It's blurry, but you can still see it.
Eventually, the couple is escorted from the theater.
Wait,
Boebert
they're
giving staff the
skipping.
middle finger and allegedly saying, "Don't you know who I am?" according to an incident report from the venue. Before this video revealed the true performance, her campaign
This was a video too. I was
manager
like, whoa.
denying the allegations that Boebert was kicked out for vaping, telling the Washington Post in a statement there might have been a
Maybe I'm wrong.
misunderstanding from someone sitting near her, and attributing the source of the smoke to heavy fog machines and electronic cigarettes used in the show. NBC News has reached out to Drew Sexton, Boebert's campaign manager, and Boebert herself, but has not heard back. Boebert alluding to the incident, tweeting, "It's true. I did thoroughly enjoy the amazing Beetlejuice
you
at the
did.
Buell Theater, and I plead guilty to laughing and singing too loud. Everyone should go see it if you get the chance this week, and please let me know how it ends." The end of that evening for Boebert and her date, holding hands and twirling into the night.
I could have sworn there was more. Maybe there wasn't more to that. I could have sworn there was like a picture of a video of her head in his lap, honestly. But I could be wrong. Let's see here. I'm double checking this via what's its name. And then I'll be out. I'm gonna play this AI video that was cool. As I find these cool AI videos, I'm gonna see what ChatGPT says here. Actually, I'm gonna look at this robot, this Chinese robot playing basketball. Historical reports describe him as a Democrat. No credible public. That doesn't mean he's not. There's no reporting. It looks like there's no reliable. Well, sometimes you have to say, is there any unreliable? Yeah, I don't trust it. I don't trust it at all. But I'm gonna play this robot video. It's short. So this is a robot. I think it's 7'2" is what they said. 7 feet 2 inches tall, if I'm not mistaken. And it can dribble the basketball, not move and dribble, but it can dribble. Yeah, they left out. I could have sworn there was more. Why did they leave that out? So this is a robot, Chinese robot. It's gonna carry. Okay, that's a carry, but it's pretty cool that it can dribble a ball, basketball. I mean, that's pretty cool. It doesn't have hands. It has like a little basket, but and look at the form. It bends its knees. I mean, that looks like good basketball form. It's just very slow, but it's really shooting with one arm, and that's really how you do basketball. That's really how you shoot is with the one arm. That's crazy. But look how, you create a 7'2" robot, and it is something that legit scary. I mean, we're creating the future slave masters, our own slave masters. This thing on wheels will have guns. It'll be able to be faster. It will be able to beat your ass. These are and you can't stop it. My take has not changed on technology and AI. But the fact is, we are creating our future slave masters. That thing will have you picking cotton. That thing will have you doing whatever it wants you to do. And they kind of soften the blow by saying it's shooting basketballs. That's not what they're concerned about. That 7'2" robot is what's going to come up on the beach of Thailand and climb through the mountains and then start taking over the country. While America's back with their, we have our outdated equipment and nothing comparable. Amazing sight to behold, though. China is so far ahead of us. The infrastructure moves from China. This is basically infrastructure for them. And if we can't get our infrastructure right, China's going to use them before they enslave everyone. Even the Chinese will be enslaved by their own creation. The Chinese will be able to create it, and those things will be hunting people down in the mountains. They'll be rolling up on you in a cave. Don't even worry about going to a mountain. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about finding a cave or a log cabin. Just stay where you are. These things will have sensors. You saw that in Iran, they had like a heartbeat sensor, AI algorithmic tool. I don't know exactly what it was, but it could sense the beating of someone's heart like miles away. Put that on one of these things, you're done. You're not going to run from this thing. That's the future right there. Oh, are they Japanese? I apologize, man. Obviously, Toyota's Japanese. That is Toyota. I'm just what, bruh? Japanese, Chinese. I know that's really bad, man. That's worse than crashing out on the Jews. That really is worse. But what am I gonna do, man? This, like, they got slanty eyes. They look the same, right? I mean, what am I gonna do? Is it really that bad? Oh man. I think somebody said, what do you think about the Iran war? I think I missed that one. But the Iran war is basically just a continuation of Bush neocon Republican-led. It's Republican and Democrats, but the Republicans lead this part. The Democrats lead the open border part, kind of that type of thing. I've crashed out on everybody. Hippocratic Oath is like, okay, you went too far, man. You just went way too far. You didn't even realize. 2 minutes in, you didn't even realize you're talking about Japanese as if they're Chinese. Or whatever, man. Whatever they are. They all over there. But I like the Japanese. I actually like the Chinese now too. So I apologize. I sincerely apologize to my Chinese friends. I would like to go to China at some point. I think Chinese have a little bit different angle to their slanty eyes, aren't they? They're a little bit like the Chinese. The slant on their eyes is more kind of like 45 degrees, and then the Japanese is like more 25. Is that how you do it? Pirate radio, stay human. Yeah, pretty much. I'm gonna play the video of this cool AI video. I watched it a couple times. I really enjoyed it. This AI video. It's called what was it called? I forgot what it's called. So I'll just play it. I'm out. Peace.
What if I told you the laws of physics were literally being destroyed?
I'd say you were going crazy.
What if I told you the laws of physics were literally being destroyed?
I'd say you were going crazy.
Maybe I am crazy. This was supposed to be our timeline. And somehow we ended up over here.
This isn't a glitch. Let it go.
I'm gonna need someone who isn't afraid of risk.
Fry! Listen to me very carefully.
I'm gonna get you out.
So scientists are now saying that there are a series of baffling incidents that appear to defy the known laws of physics.
The math doesn't add up anymore, which means someone, something, is changing the math.
It's like they built a backdoor into the universe.
Uh-oh.
Hello, Neil. Time to divide everything by 0. Ha 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 ha.
Neil, we're gonna die! Let me think, motherfucker. Oh, shit.
Stop them. They're getting away.
To be honest, this whole theory sounds pretty out there. You really shouldn't have called me, Neil. You don't understand. He's collapsing the goddamn multiverse. I'm not going back, Neil!
Send in the fucking drones.
So it was all a big fat lie! I thought I told you to shut him down. It's not what you think.
Ouch.
Oh, pie hard. Okay, like
Not the Nutella. I'm allergic.
I don't know, man. That's one. That's probably my favorite AI trailer I've ever seen. That's my favorite one I've ever seen. That's dope. That's dope. I'm out for real though, man. I just gotta listen to the Alex Jones one more time, like vintage Alex Jones. And then when I go to sleep, I'm gonna find this. This is from a week ago. I mean, this is from what the 14th or 11th? Yeah, it's from the 11th. So I'll look and see if I can find this whole show. InfoWars, Alex Jones, vintage Alex Jones.
I'm just going to scorch earth Trump to get him back on track. Only way to do it is to go after him viciously. You've already shed all over me. And if you try to rub it in, I just, at that point, I don't care anymore. So if you think I've been coming after you, if you think that I'm trying to get clicks by attacking you so the Democrats that don't buy anything from me and don't like me want to put me in jail, if you think I've been on your ass, say one more thing. One more thing out of your mouth. And Laura Loomer, send him this, okay? One more thing. When I've gone through hell back in your ass because you were the lesser of two evils, then I'm going to show you how to cow eat the cabbage. Do one more thing. You should be kissing my ass. But instead, you shed all over me and rub it in. I'm not looking for a fight, but if you want one, you came to the right place. I'm just going to scorch earth Trump to get him back